It's my favorite segment of the week here on Steelers Talk, where I get to answer your questions here on the Steelers Talk mailbag, talking draft, talking trade, talking quarterbacks, talking free agency. I can't wait to see what questions you got for me today on this week's Q&A. But before we get into the questions today, make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube. We go live twice a week to talk Steelers football with you guys. We put out daily and free videos on this channel, and we put up daily community posts as well, so you guys can engage and give your take on the Pittsburgh Steelers with a community that bleeds black and gold. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. With that, let's get to our first question, a $5 super chat. First-time super chatter, CJ Ross says Matthew Stafford for a first-rounder and a third or fourth for Cup, sign a cornerback and linebacker in free agency, and then pick up 2 defensive tackles, a cornerback, and wide receiver in the draft. The only thing that I think that I would change there is, well, actually, I think that's probably pretty good right there. I would love to get Matthew Stafford. I don't think it's going to cost a first and a third for Stafford. I think it'd probably just cost a first rounder. Maybe a fourth rounder or fifth rounder that can get thrown in there. But I think that a first rounder is a pretty good price tag to pay for somebody, and I think that would probably be enough. And then when it comes to Kupp, I would personally wait for them to release him. I think that they might release him just because I don't know if anyone wants to take on his contract, and then you can sign him to a more favorable contract here in Pittsburgh. But other than that, I think that that's a perfectly fine plan there, CJ. Got one from Lil Yaya, says, is there a sleeper wide receiver you think can make an impact? I'm going to go with Efton Chisholm III out of Eastern Washington. He was the number 1 graded wide receiver according to Pro Football Focus in college football last year. He had like 23 missed tackles, dynamic out in open space. And right now, according to the Pro Football Focus big board, the Steelers could get him in the 7th round. All right, if that is a sleeper if I've ever seen one. Now, obviously, he played at Eastern Washington, so it's not like the greatest level of competition. But Cooper Kupp came from that school, and he's responsible for the greatest wide receiver season in the history of the National Football League. Not saying that's going to be Chisholm, but just to point out that teams from that school can have success. So I would go with Chisholm as my sleeper wide receiver to keep your eye on. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, which wide receiver would you like the Steelers to acquire this offseason? Do you want Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp? Would you like to get somebody early in the draft? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know which receiver you want to see in black and gold next year. Got one from Kevin Reed. Says, do y'all think we should draft McMillan out of West Virginia to pair him with his former teammate Frazier? I don't think the Steelers are going to do that just because I think Milam, I think it's Wylam actually, is probably going to be going on day 2, and I don't think the Steelers are going to be taking a guard that early. I think the Steelers like their O-line. I think the Steelers believe in their young talent that they drafted. I think they think Broderick Jones is going to play better at the left side than he did on the right side. I think they believe in Isaac Seumalo as a very solid veteran guard. Frazier was a top 10 center in the game last year. Mason McCormick had to make kind of a big switch from left guard to right guard, and he had to adjust to the NFL game. He struggled down the stretch, but they believe in his physical talent. And then Troy Fautano, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a stud at right tackle for this team as well. So I think the Steelers, they'll get some help and some depth along the offensive line, but I don't think they're going to be spending early draft capital on any player on the offensive line this year. Then we got one from Matthew Torres. Says, based on how the Steelers operate, or better yet, now in the Omar Khan era, do you see them drafting a wide receiver in the first round, maybe trading up for Tetairoa McMillan if he happens to fall? Depends how hard Tetairoa McMillan falls. I have a massive grade on T-Mac. I think he's an awesome player. I compare him to a young A.J. Green. I'm that high on him. He's an athletic freak at his size. And if he's available, if he gets past like the Bears pick at 10 and he gets into the teens, I would be looking to try and trade up for him. He is super, super special. But, you know, I think that Omar Khan has shown that he's willing to trade up for the right players. If he finds a player that he really likes, he's not going to be afraid to pull the trigger and move up. In the NFL draft, he did it for Broderick Jones, for example. I don't think he's going to pay like an astronomical price to go get him. He's going to have his price to move up. But I certainly think Omar Khan in this era is super aggressive, just like his mentor, Howie Roseman, super aggressive in terms of the trade market. So, yes, I do think the Steelers will be aggressive this year with Omar Khan. He'll be trying to make trades. He'll be trying to make moves, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do this offseason. Before we get into the rest of your Steelers questions this week, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Public Rec. And let's be real for a minute here, guys. Nobody's got time for stiff, uncomfortable clothes anymore. It's February, it's cold outside, and, there's a lot of uncomfort when you're walking outside regardless, and you deserve to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing. That's where Public Rec comes in. These pants are an absolute game changer because their pants are designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweats, but way more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with whatever your day throws at you. Public Rec isn't just about pants, though, guys. They've got a bunch of great style options with their pants, and then they also have, quarter zips. They've got long sleeve T-shirts. They've got hoodies. They've got polos. They've got a bunch of great stuff all on their website, guys. So whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, or just grabbing a drink with the guys, I'll tell you guys this right now. Once you start getting some stuff from this company, you're never going to want to get stuff from any other clothing brand. It's that good, guys. So this February, stop settling for the same old stuff and step up your comfort game with Public Rec. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 20% off your entire order when you use code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And listen, man, I'm wearing a Public Rec shirt right now. I wear them pretty much every single day. Shout out to Public Rec for hooking us up. And, I've got like 3 pairs of their pants. And, they gave the first pair to us to try out when they partnered with us. And I bought 2 more pairs immediately. It's that good, super comfortable, super stretchy. I really don't like wearing any other types of pants now, guys, if I'm being completely honest with you, because they fit so well. They are so comfortable, and you can wear them literally anywhere. So this February, treat yourself right because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec today and feel the difference. For limited time only, you guys get 20% off your entire order at Public Rec by using code CHAT20 at checkout. It's right down there in the bottom of your screen right now, CHAT20 as the promo code. Just head on over to publicrec.com, use that code CHAT20, and you're all set. And then when they ask you where you found them, be sure to mention our show, Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It really does help us out. So find your perfect fit and never compromise on comfort again. Public Rec, where comfort rules. Got a $5 super chat from CJ Ross. Appreciate you, CJ. And then this is his question here. How many years do you think we put up with mediocrity with Tomlin at the helm? I think 2 more seasons. Okay, that's what I think it's going to be. Because right now, you have to realize the Steelers' mindset is, okay, we have these players on our team. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick. These players have been with us for a long time. They have been loyal to our brand and to our team and to our organization. And Cam Hayward has 2 years left before he retires. So this team's focus is to try and give this squad the best possible chance to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. And I think part of that plan is to keep the consistency of the head coach and the coaching staff in place. So even if the Steelers go like 9-8 and make the playoffs and lose in the first round again next year, and they're literally exactly in the same spot, I still think they go back to Mike Tomlin for another year because heading into Cam Hayward's final season, I don't know if they're going to want to make a switch. All right, I think that they will probably still think that they're just a piece away or whatever. And, I think it's certainly fair to think the Steelers won't win a Super Bowl as long as Mike Tomlin is here. But I think Art Rooney II has a lot of trust in him. He is now the longest tenured head coach in the NFL. And he has won a Super Bowl, and I think Rooney is kind of living off of that Super Bowl run as, proof that he can still do it. So I guess time will tell if they're actually able to build the roster and the team to be able to accomplish that feat. But you have to remember, and you have to keep this in mind, this team is really trying to get Cam Hayward a ring before he retires, and that's in 2 seasons. So I think until then, I think that Tomlin will probably stick around. Then we got one from Mimic Tarzier 235, says, I know Deshaun Elliott is an elite tackler and is great in run defense, but how good is he in coverage? I think he's fine in coverage. I think that he does fine. Now, obviously, if he's going up against like a slot wide receiver that's way shiftier than he is, he's going to struggle. He's a strong safety. But I think for what he does in the Steelers defense, he's a perfect fit. I thought he was an awesome signing at the time, and I still love the signing. I think that Elliott is an awesome player. I think he showed that last year with a bunch of great tackle moments TFLs, blowing up screens. I love that he's on this football team, man. I can't wait to watch him play next year. So before we get to the rest of the questions today, make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate your support here at Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. And the fastest and easiest way to help us out, guys, is clicking that thumbs up icon. Tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content, that they should push this out to more Steelers fans like yourselves. So every time you click into a Steelers Talk video, don't forget to click that thumbs up icon. Got one from Ali the Reaper, one of my favorite profile pictures right there. So should we consider going after DJ Reed? Yeah, there's a lot of good corners in this year's free agency crop, and there's a lot of guys that I'd be cool with. I'd be cool with Byron Murphy Jr. I'd be somewhat cool with Jair Alexander if he can stay healthy. I would like Stephon Gilmore even. Like, there's a lot of good corners that fit what the Steelers want to do that I think would be very good complementary pieces. Jack Jones is another guy that's going to be hitting the free agency market. But DJ Reed, very consistent player. Would love him in the black and gold as well. Then we got one from the Gabe Zero. Says, how about Emeka Egbuka and bring back Justin Fields? I don't hate it, man. These guys, I believe Egbuka's been there for a while. So I think that did he play with Fields? It's right up there. I don't know if these two actually played with each other at Ohio State, but I think Egbuka was there for 5 seasons, which I think would have been his freshman season. Might have been when Fields was still there. I don't know, but obviously Ohio State guys. I'm a big fan of Egbuka's game. Slot specialist, but I think he has the chops to play on the outside as well. Great after the catch, so Arthur Smith's going to love him in that regard. I think he's a great fit for what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do. So, hey, if they bring back Justin Fields as this team's starting quarterback, I'm down. Got one from Byron Davidson. Says, what do you think about drafting one of the star Texas defensive tackles in the draft? So, Coop, I know about Alfred Collins here, and, he's a good player. Really good run stuffer. I would love for Alfred Collins to be here. Who's the other guy that he's talking about here?
I don't know if there's another guy on the defensive line.
Is he talking about defensive Texas A&M?
Maybe A&M. They have Shamar Turner and Shamar Stewart. Those are both good players.
Yeah, Texas A&M has 2 really good players in Turner and then Stewart that can play on the interior. But there's a lot of good defensive tackles in this class, man. You could probably get a good one in round 5, and I'm not even joking. It's that deep of a class at defensive tackle. It's probably the deepest class of any other position in the draft this year. So, yeah, man, I think that Alfred Collins would be good. Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, all of them are good players. I would love to bring any of them here to Pittsburgh. Going from Lazy Sharky, says, hey, Jack, first off, wanted to say I love your content, and I watch pretty much every video you guys post. And second, if by some magical reason Tomlin gets fired, who do you want at head coach? I would want Brian Flores. The reason why I would want Brian Flores, and by the way, thank you, Lazy Sharky, for watching all of our show, man. Thanks for your support. But Brian Flores, I think is the type of guy that can fill Mike Tomlin's shoes, not only as a leader, but also as a personality. Because we know Tomlin is one of the most charismatic people you're ever going to find, man. When he walks into a room, you notice it. And Flores is that kind of leader, in my opinion. People really respect him. He's a high-energy individual. He's a brilliant defensive mind as well. So for all the Steelers fans saying we should have kept him as DC, well, now you get the chance to actually see his defense if he's the head coach. Plus, he's got connections to the Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay kind of tree offensively, so he can pluck Josh McCown or somebody else from that kind of tree, the up-and-coming young offensive mind to lead the offense. For me personally, I think Brian Flores would be a perfect fit to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I would be thrilled if he ends up being the guy. And, as long as teams keep passing on Brian Flores, it seems like every single season I'm saying there's no way he's going another year without getting a job. And I think because of the Miami years and some of the rumors about how he handled the quarterback situation is kind of putting a damper on his prospects of getting another job. But if they do move on from Tomlin, the guy that I would want is Brian Flores. So let me know down there in the comments section, if the Pittsburgh Steelers fired Tomlin, who would you guys want as the next Steelers head coach? It's a great question from Lazy Sharky, so answer it for me down there in the comments section. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. That's the end of this week's Steelers Talk mailbag, but don't you fret. If you got a question, you want to get it on the show, put hashtag Steelers down there in the comments section, or you guys can join us on the next Steelers Talk live show where we take your questions yet again.